have been at Brooklyn College for 38 years, teaching English as a second language. I retired 14 months ago, but this semester, spring to 2012, yes, I'm back teaching my martial art fiction course. This course was put together under a great deal of stress because the Asian Study Task Force at Brooklyn College looked at this course listing and it was really too short. So we thought if we could create new courses to add to the offering, it might be good. So I listened to the advice and this is what I did. So speaking of Asian studies here at Brooklyn College, I think we need to go back to about 1999, although I don't think that I got involved so early. It was our provost, Roberta Matthews, who knows me personally, and she recognized the importance of Asian studies and that Brooklyn College should have a strong program. So she asked if I would chair a task force and work with other faculty members and students to try to build the program again. And we did. Quite a number of people volunteers from history department, economics department, speech, Chinese program, of course, geology, and most of us are ethnically Asian, but there were a few members who were not Asian, but their own professional field is in Asian studies. So we looked at within CUNY, other campuses, what kind of program they have, and outside of CUNY, NYU, Columbia, and then outside of New York, some of the Ivy League departments, Ivy League universities that have very large Asian studies department. And we look at their course offering, and indeed, it was very obvious what we can actively offer at Brooklyn College is very limited. So right from the beginning, we try to ask for release time so that somebody could organize and run the program. However, none of that resource ever came forth. I think the advice was that we have to use our creativity and network with department chairpersons so that when there is a new line going to that department, the chair might hire someone who's capable of teaching Asian studies. So from the start, this was a very big setback with a bunch of volunteers who are very enthusiastic. There's only that much we can do. After a while, you need to spend very intensive labor and time in identifying resources, in building the program, and we got stuck. We met with two different president or one, I don't remember, but three different provosts. And we were advised to perhaps not just offer a minor, but expand it to a major. So we work on it, and by now, 2012, I think people are pretty discouraged because they see that all of the efforts that they had put in has not really brought about any positive results. So that the Asian studies as a minor exists in our course program. Anything that is new, nobody is there to make sure that it gets included, so that the list, I would say, is not very current. It's been there when a colleague did it, but he also retired 14 months ago. And those of us who have been involved feel that even though we are very discouraged, we don't want to give up, because having a good Asian studies program benefits every student in Brooklyn College. Without it, it really is a big loss. Elsewhere in other universities that recognize the importance of understanding and studying the rising Asian nations is extremely important, both as academic studies as well as for our national interest in America. We cannot continue to have just the traditional knowledge of ancient China, ancient Japan. We got to know why India, Korea, China is now the rising economic power. What have they done that America can learn from? So I think that I must give credit to my colleagues who are still active at Brooklyn College for having that commitment to continue.
Okay.
I think what the importance and significance of ethnic studies is that all people across ages and ethnic groups, all students will be able to have an opportunity to learn about the true American story. Ethnic studies is about telling the story of all Americans. As chair of Puerto Rican and Latino studies at Brooklyn College, that is something that I try to stress to my students. You don't have to be Latino or Latina to take a course. The course is about life. It's about people and interacting and socializing, learning, really understanding the history, the immigration, the racial identity, the perspectives of these people who are also Americans, but living right here in the United States as Americans. And so Asian studies is a welcome, it should be welcome, and it should be part of everything that we learn. We shouldn't be restricted to learning only about European heritage. It's good, and it's wonderful, it's part of our American history, but so are the other groups that subsequently came and that are making part of modern history in America. And so as part of that, we should have something, a program, we should have a department, we should have an opportunity for people to actually enjoy and take courses that are not only about themselves, but about other people. So every single student in college should have a course in Latino studies, in Asian studies, in Africana studies, in Judaic studies. Keep going. That is how important it is, and that will help people relate to each other better, understand the history, understand the unfolding of the processes of acculturation and biculturation. All of these different processes are so important for us to understand, and I think that is the value of ethnic studies in general. So I would definitely promote it, and I would definitely collaborate with it, and have to support it. It's part of the American story.
Thank you.
I'm asked about how I feel about starting an Asian Studies program in Brooklyn College. I'm very much in favor of it. We are a student body that brings in people from all over the world, and we should have an opportunity to service some of the largest groups that are now coming to college, like the Asian Studies, because I just participated in something that was Brooklyn neighborhoods, and the Asian group is growing rapidly. We would serve not only as a kind of home base for students from these different groups to learn about themselves, because many students who come from the different ethnic and religious groups know very little about themselves. So it's a chance for them to learn about themselves, as well as to have anybody who is interested in stepping over the borders and learning about other peoples, they will be able to have an opportunity to do so.
With you. As was just mentioned, the Asian American Asian Research Institute is part of the City University of New York. For those of you who may not know, institutes in CUNY lingo mean organizations that work across all 24 campuses within CUNY, and centers are campus specific. The mission of the Asian American Asian Research Institute, which we call ARI for short, has a mission of facilitating, promoting, disseminating, and doing original research on Asian American communities and Asian communities throughout the world. Today's talk that I am presenting will be about New York's largest Chinatown. Currently, New York's largest Chinatown is Sunset Park East. Now, I'm going to frame this in the context of Asian American history in this country and work with you a little bit so that you learn about the dynamics of the Asian American community and the Chinese community in specific in the United States. You know, this is a really terrific series, and the reason for that is that we cannot know our future if we do not know our past. And learning about all of the various communities that are being presented today, all of the challenges they face, all of the accomplishments that they have had, and also just understanding the dynamics and the demographics, etc., will serve you well. By the year of 2050, this country will have a minority majority. And as we become more and more global, it is essential that you come to understand other cultures. If you do not know the details, you will at least be aware, sensitive to the fact that there may be cultural issues at play when you're dealing with contracts, when you're dealing with teaching in different environments, and so on. Within the City University of New York, we have over 47,000 Asian Americans, undergraduate, graduate, faculty, and staff. Brooklyn College currently has over 17.7% Asian American student body. Now, this is very important. These are the people who will be your colleagues. These are among the other communities and the other students in this college who will be the next generation of leaders. And you will get to know one another in the environment of Brooklyn College. So it becomes really imperative that we learn and we understand about one another's communities.